good evening. Welcome back to another Coach's Show here at Luigi's here in Newcastle. That is Luigi's here at 117 Northwest 32nd. It is filling up. There are a few tables left. If you want to get up here and come to them, feel free to do that. We'd love to see you here. There is a special tonight. It's the trio special.
Sounds good.
So he was describing that to us earlier. It sounded wonderful. Come up here, see us. And if you're not coming up here, shame on you. But no, you can see us on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. You can watch it on there. And so tonight we have several guests. You're going to see a lot of people up here. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope that you'll come up here. Start heading this way now. You can get here in time to get some food, catch some of the show at least, if not all of it. And so just want to let you know that. Hey, thank you to everyone here. Thanks to Luigi's. A great time. We always enjoy it here. Hope you enjoy it as well. The man beside me is the man, not the myth, but the legend, Gene Reed. How are you doing, sir?
We're doing great. Billy, we're crazy about the racers, and we're also crazy about Luigi's and the Luigi family.
Yes.
One of our favorite places to eat here. We especially know Luigi's through the Wilsons, but the family expands from there. But not only are they great folks in the restaurant here, but they also bring a lot of athletes to our program, coaches, and we just thank them for hosting us during this time.
We do. Hey, one thing we want to do tonight is we want to talk about last week's game. Want to see what week's game is about. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Gene, if you don't mind, and you can talk about that and start us off a little bit on what you saw last week.
Billy, one thing we love to talk about is each of the games. And we just ended the game. We just enjoyed the game from Friday night. And it was an exciting game. I just would like to share a little bit about some of the highlights and some of the stats. And in a few moments, Coach Bo Bradshaw, our defensive coordinator, is going to come and join us. So we'll be asking him from his perspective as a coach. But just some of the numbers, if you will. Racers prevailed over the Plainview Indians 35-21. Newcastle had 160 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Plainview had 194 passing yards and a couple of touchdowns. Newcastle had 214 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns compared to Plainview with 115 yards and a TD. So total yards for the Racers, 374. Total yards for the Indians, 309. Racers were 7 of 15 third down conversions, and that was pretty significant. The defense prevailed so well. The Indians, the stat that I have showed them 1 of 7.
Wow.
We each had 2 turnovers. We did have a couple of fumbles. That affected our game flow, unfortunately, as turnovers do. But also, Plainview had a couple of turnovers in the form of 2 intercepted passes. So that was great. Each team, Billy, had 10 possessions. You would expect about the same number of possessions, obviously. 5 of the Racers' possessions ended in touchdowns, and 3 of the Plainview possessions ended in touchdowns. 2 of our drives ended in fumbles. 1 ended in turnover on downs, and 2 ended in a punt. We only punted 2 times, and that again spoke to a lot of good control. Jackson Burt, 68% passes for 160 yards, and I said 2 touchdowns. T.J. Bradford had 22 carries for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Lane had 5 catches for 62 yards and a TD, and Jalen Lane also had a catch. He had more than 1 catch, but 1 was a 9-yard touchdown. Rex Heskew had 3.5 tackles and an interception. T.J. Bradford had 2 or 3 tackles and an interception. Shane Lovejoy, 4.5 tackles. He also had a pick 6 that got negated because of a penalty. But it was a beautiful grab by Shane, took it into the end zone. It did come back. But listen, our offensive line did great. Our defensive line did great. On offense, Burt had a lot of time for passing. I don't think they ever got to him. He was rushed very little, and also our defensive line. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the game and the team, but I'd like to share this. You and I have discussed this, and I've asked a few others. Some of the key observations is this Racer team is showing toughness.
Yes.
Toughness and persistence, especially when we came out of that third quarter. What happened in that third quarter? We'll talk about that perhaps if we want to. It wasn't the most beautiful quarter ever, but The Racers showed their toughness, their persistence. They showed depth. The depth is phenomenal, especially once we saw some guys got injured, had come out of the game. Those who coming in showed a lot of capability. The defense strategy, we'll talk to our defensive coordinator. I'm told our defense is new to a lot of the kids, and they're still learning parts of it. So that's what these first 2 or 3 games are really for, to prepare us for district play. But it looked to me like, I don't know how much learning they need to do. They look good to me. I really like that. And one more thing I'll mention, our kicking game, Toby Batchelder, consistent.
Very consistent.
All 5 PATs. PAT, hey, that's the point. But when you miss them, or if you don't have someone to kick them, you really feel it. And we are so glad, I'm so glad, we're so appreciative of having Toby. Not only that, he kicked 1 punt, 40 yards. Good punt. So that's a little bit about the numbers and the game. The Indians did come back in that third quarter. Some things happened. We got some penalties. They got behind us in a couple of plays. But the old Racers came back strong and held on, went ahead and scored another score. Newcastle prevailed 35-21.
Well, and if you were there at the game, you saw that they came ready to play. They like hitting. Some of the words that Josh and I used on Friday were slobber knockers, haymakers. They're a blue-collar team. They like to come in. They like to hit, and they did. Now, one of the things you might see, I know in the first game, Newcastle had over 400 yards. This one, a little bit under 400, but it's because Newcastle chose to do methodical moving, going methodically down the field, keeping their defense off the field, wearing them down, and I think that's something we're probably going to see a lot more of as the year goes on, as Coach Brickman has talked about just getting healthy, having the depth, working on being there at the end of the game. And I think that's also what you saw this week against Plainview. We had control of the first half. We handled them the first half in all aspects. And then at the end of the game, we also handled them there. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot of teams this year, hands on the hips, bending over, just because I don't think that they focused that much as Coach Brickman said they focused as well. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to get things set up. We're going to have a defensive coach Bo Bradshaw is going to be here with us, and we're going to spend a couple of segments talking to him, being on the team, coming here this year. And so stick around. We'll be right back after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma, because we wouldn't be a community without you.
Everyone, and we're so glad to be here once again. We're at Luigi's here in Newcastle. Tonight we have kind of 2 major topics. We are pleased to have our defensive coordinator, Coach Bo Bradshaw, his first year at Newcastle, and stay with us because during the second half of the show we have several members of our middle school program, some coaches, to talk to us a little bit about this group of players who are going to be feeding and already are feeding into the varsity. So Coach Bradshaw, Welcome to Newcastle.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Being a first-year coach, tell us a little about yourself.
So this is my 7th year coaching high school football, and it's been awesome coming out here to Newcastle and just getting to know the community and stuff like this is just incredible. You know, I love being a part of this stuff. My wife, we've been married for 6 years now. Her name is Kinsey, and she's wonderful, really supportive. She's really excited to be out here in Newcastle. She was actually kind of the one that pushed me out here because she's heard of how wonderful it is out here and how good the people are and stuff like that. And so she was really excited to kind of get our family plugged into the community. I've got a son who's 3. His name is Beckham. He's running around on the sidelines. I know last Friday night he didn't get to come to the first game, so the Plainview game was his first one. And he got to run through the big car, you know, as he loves cars, so he was really pumped up to run through the car. And I've got a daughter, her name is Whitney, and she's 1 year old, so she was up way past her bedtime on Friday night, but she was loving every second of it, you know. She was up there in the hospitality room, and I think she was eating a lot of this Luigi's pasta, that's what my wife said, so she was eating it up. So, yeah, we love it. My family, they really enjoyed meeting everybody, getting to know everybody, and just, you know, being racers. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Well, we're glad to have you as part of the racer family, and so many of us are experiencing that joy of being here in Newcastle, and the family seems to really, we operate as a family.
Yeah. Well, and what I would love to say is I see all the energy you bring out there. You're running around there. Has that been a part of your coaching for the last 7 years?
Yeah, I try to bottle it in some, you know, let the kids bring the energy, but at some point, you know, I let loose as well, you know, and I try to bring, especially if I feel like they're not as gung-ho, I guess, you know, I try to boost them up a little bit and get them where they need to be. But yeah, I mean, I think if they see somebody that's passionate about what we're doing, you know, they feel the same way and they follow suit and they fill in with the same passion. So yeah, I mean, it's something that's modeled for me from coaches that I've coached with in the past and that coached me when I was in high school and college, you know, and a bunch of coaches have different roles on the staff, you know, and so sometimes you got to have a rah-rah guy, you know, and I definitely take my turn being him. So.
And I think the fans key off that too, Coach.
Oh yeah, big time for sure.
They really do. Now, how impressed have you been? It seems like the players are really picking up. Was it a whole new system that you brought in that they had to learn? It seems like they've really picked up on it pretty well. Have you been impressed with how they've done it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot different than what they were doing. They're used to the 3-3 stuff, and we brought in the 4-2-5. And I've been really impressed with the intelligence of the players, especially the kids who only have known, you know, one system, and now they're changing to something else. I've been really impressed with how they've adapted and they've learned. Especially, you know, I'm the defense coordinator, but I also coach the defensive ends. And their mindset and their scheme or what their job within that defense changes a whole lot, pretty drastically. And they've done a really good job of altering their scheme of play and how they work their fundamentals and their stance, you know, and everything. They've done a really good job of altering that and making big plays for us.
And I will verify too that Elcision and Barry out there, one of the things I've noticed this year that you don't see at this level too often is they don't run themselves out of the play. You've seen them really staying in their place, keeping it bottled up, and even getting and making plays in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been really impressed with. I'm going to give you credit for that. You can give it to whoever you want. Hey, a question I did have for you, who was a coach that really inspired you to do defense like you do, and what was it about him that inspired you?
So in high school, I had the pleasure of playing for Coach Mike Corley. He's over at Carl Albert High School. He still coaches there now. He's had a few different roles there. He's been a positions coach. He's been a defense coordinator. He was a head coach for a time. And he's definitely really inspired me. You know, this is the defense that I learned from him. I ran it for him when I was a player, and then I coached under him in the same scheme. And even just like his character, who he is as a person, and the discipline that he kind of instilled in me as a young man, you know, and the effect that he had on me as a person inspired me, not only, you know, defensive scheme-wise, but also just as a man, you know, and as a citizen of the community. You know, he inspired me to want to, you know, be a strong family man, be a committed member to the community that I'm in, and just, you know, make a positive impact on everybody around me. So, you know, I give him a lot of credit as well. There's a lot of, I could start throwing out a lot of names of people that have had a huge impact on me coaching-wise, and I'm sure anybody who's played high school sports kind of has the same way, you know. But, you know, Coach Corley and Coach Farley, Coach Herbert, there's a lot of guys. You know, when I was at OVU, I had a coach named Jason Milo. He's my linebacker coach up there. And he's one of those guys that, you know, if you mention his name in a room of coaches, everybody knows who he is. So I was really proud to play for him. And he also has that rah-rah personality that we talked about, a big energy guy. So he also just loves his players really well. You know,
Coach, if I may say, there's going to be a lot of parents who appreciate hearing what you said. Not only the energy, but the character, the coaching character, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
Now, without asking any corporate secrets, you know, because the enemy might be listening, anything you're looking for as you look at the upcoming game, what's an example of something a defensive coordinator would be focusing on, maybe something that you want your team to focus on more than they have at this point of the year?
Yeah, I think just, you know, make sure we're still working the fundamentals of the defense, and making sure that, you know, everybody's doing our job within the 11-man system, you know, and trusting the guy next to you to do your job, and it kind of will fulfill itself. But as far as like specifically our defense goes, in the Plainview game, you know, we were pretty consistent as a defense, but we gave up a couple big plays. You know, we had a big play in the first half with the busted coverage, and the same thing in the second half. And then coming out of halftime, you know, we were working with the short field, but we were a little undisciplined in our assignments, and we had some bad penalties, you know, that led to a touchdown. So really two out of the three penalties came off of big plays. And so just, you know, we want to eliminate the big play. You know, we want to take away big gains and stay consistent and keep things in front of us, and just wrap up and tackle. You know, I mean, I think that's my emphasis for the guys this week.
Well, and I've been real impressed. You have kind of the next man up. I've noticed there's a lot of switching in, both on offense and defense. But you have a lot of that next man up, and I've seen a lot where a couple of things that I've seen this year is how they're trusting each other. You're not seeing them overplay. I've seen some high schools do that where they'll throw a ball out in the flat and 9 defensive players go to that side of the field. You're doing a really good job. Another thing I've noticed is some of your older players are speaking to the younger players, and a lot of talk going on there on the sideline. How is that impacting your coaching ability there?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's big time. We have to have that. You know, we have a lot of young guys on this team with a lot of talent that are able to contribute, which is huge. But that comes with a lack of experience. And so it's big time whenever we have leaders that are willing to coach the younger players. And they do that in practice, but also last night, you know, we had a big JV game against Tuttle last night, and our kids, you know, we ended up winning by 4 points in the rain. You know, they had a chance to score a touchdown last second. One of the little Schumacher twins came up and knocked it down, you know, so it was really exciting. But, you know, we also had guys like Antonio Brown was over on the sidelines. You know, he was basically, you know, working as a linebacker coach last night, coaching up the freshman linebackers for the JV game. It was huge. You know, I would, you know, sub him out for doing the wrong thing, and I would say, hey, Tone, get him, you know, and he would tell me what I was thinking. He knew why I was pulling him out, you know, but we've got that there, you know, and then, you know, a couple of guys that you mentioned, Aiden Elson has been a huge, big-time leader for us, you know, and I think the kids have always kind of looked at him as a leader, and he sets the example with his actions, you know, and I've challenged him the past couple of weeks. It's like, hey, we need you to lead him with your words, too, you know, and I think he's stepping up to that challenge, and he's a big-time leader for us. Another one is Rex Heskew, you know, and you could see it in the game last Friday night. You know, we had to put him in, and he made some really big plays for us in the backfield. You know, he got back there, and he obviously had that interception at the end of the game, but there was a lot of big-time tackles where he came up and made the play on the edge and things like that. And just his presence, you know, you can see from the kids' demeanor when we put him on the field. Everybody's demeanor changes. They look to him, and guys like Trey Burchett, you know, we've got a lot of good leaders in this team for sure.
And just as a fan, as I've seen so much of the action is on the line of scrimmage. Not very many people get back there.
No.
The distribution of tackles on the team, everybody's getting in there, everyone's putting their helmet in there, and when there were a few where they got behind us, but so much of the time, even the linebackers were close in to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Shane Lovejoy is one of the main guys too, and Brady Rice, before he got injured, those linebackers are big time. And they're the ones that, you know, in our defense, they're the ones that should be making the tackles, you know, and so, I mean, they did a really good job of that, especially against Plainview. You know, their running back, number 21, you know, he's a special guy. You know, he's a really good player. And, you know, Lovejoy, he got the big hit hammer this week, and he met him in the hole and stood him up and drove him backwards, so I was really proud of that. You know, and Jackson Shandel's another guy who was playing free safety, getting himself in the run fit. He had a lot of good tackles this week, too.
Well, and that's one thing I see a lot with, especially defensive backs. but the front four, holding in there, keeping them in there, but you're showing a lot of speed and closing in, whether it's a pass, whether it's a run. That's one of the things I've noticed about Heskey's. He's picked up a lot of speed and closing in and breaking up passes and such.
Absolutely.
Hey, we're going to have another segment with you, if that's okay. But let's take a second right now. We're going to just take a break. I want to encourage you to come out here to Luigi's. Come out, have something to eat, enjoy the show. You're going to get to meet some of the coaches and just have a good time here with Gene, myself, Coach Bradshaw. I want to thank Uriah, who's doing the producing. So come on out here to Luigi's, 117 Northwest 32nd Street.
Coach Brickman has joined us.
Yeah, he's right there. He's hiding. No, he's here and getting to enjoy it as well. And I know that it's a lot of pride to him getting to hear his coaches talk about the program as well. Hey, we'll be right back right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
Hey, we're back here at Luigi's, having a great time. A lot of great faces out here, most of them feeding their face. And so that's a really good time. I want to thank them again out here at Luigi's. I want to invite you to come out here, ask for the trio. That's a special tonight. We're going to continue on here with Coach Bradshaw. Gene, you were talking in the break about some things.
Yeah, Billy, it's our job to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
But we did have that quarter. We did have that one quarter, the third quarter. It wasn't disastrous, but it was so different from the first half. These things are going to happen in ball games. We see them all the time. But you know what happened in the third quarter? I think we got our first penalty.
Wow.
I think that's right.
Really?
And we got our second penalty. And then we got our third penalty in the third quarter. We got our fourth penalty. And then we waited till the fourth quarter to get our fifth penalty and the sixth one. They were not disastrous penalties, they were unfortunate, but the reason I bring that up is I wanted to ask the coach, these things happen with teams, and it seems like it kind of happened after a fumble. We lost the ball, they got the ball, they started getting momentum, and we started doing things maybe differently than we had. As a coach, what do you do? Because I know you wish you could just call about a 30-minute timeout and go back to the locker room and talk to people, because I don't understand. How do you do it on the fly like that?
Well, part of it as coaches is we often have to look at ourselves, look at each other and say, hey, remember we're coaching 14 to 18-year-old boys, and so I'm sure the parents can relate to all that because, you tell them one thing and it goes in one ear and out the next, because I heard Coach Rickman tell them at halftime, but hey, the game's not over, Plainview's a really good team. They're not just going to, fold on you and it's going to be game over from here because you're up. And I don't.
Not true.
Yeah, I don't know. They said that they heard it, but their actions, didn't show it. So we came out of that second half, and I kind of think we thought we had it in the bag, and luckily we kind of got together, like you were saying, in the fourth quarter. We took the hit on the chin, if you will, and faced adversity, and they responded really well. But it was a good lesson to learn, and I think that's why you play tough non-district games, is so that you can play teams like Plainview, They're going to be a really solid football team. They're really well coached. They have a lot of talent. If they can stay healthy, they'll go a long ways. But one of the things is like, hey, the mistakes are going to happen, but how are you going to respond to it? But the big thing for me was 2 of those were 15 yards, personal foul penalties, and that's just not acceptable. That's not something that we want to be known as having personal fouls. It can be argued and debated, if you want to, but at the end of the day, the ref of the flag. So I remember, after that series, the first defensive series coming out of halftime, we had a personal foul penalty, and I got all 11 guys after that PAT over on the sideline. I just kind of told them, hey, our mouths are going to be shut, and we're going to play between whistles, and that's that. And the kids respond well to that. Sometimes they just get caught up in the heat of the moment. They need that reminder. And so, I just kind of set the standard of how races are going to act on and off the field.
And I think you're right. That third quarter was them punching with everything they have. You see it in MMA, you see it in boxing, where they just take that moment and they know if they don't take it down right now, there's a good chance they're not going to win. And that's what I kind of felt that Plainview was trying to do. And again, they're a blue-collar, hit you where you stand type of team. And so it was good to see how the response came. And it was good to see that it was almost watching from the stands. It was almost like a clip where in the fourth quarter, it's kind of like the players, and I know it has a lot to do with coaching, but there was just a moment where the players said, guys, let's just take a look at this. And it's what it seemed like they did. And I don't know if it feels the same way down there. I never claimed to be a coach. I've told Rick that many times. But that's how it kind of looks up there as a fan. Is that kind of on the sideline as you're communicating and talking, does it almost feel the same way, or do you see kind of, okay, here's where we're turning the corner?
I wish I could say it felt like a click, but it did not. It felt like that. It was a never-ending third quarter for me, and in the fourth quarter, I know we played a lot better. And going back and watching film, just saying, the eye in the sky never lies, and it's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems. And so that fourth quarter, when you go back and watch film, it didn't look as bad as it felt in the moment, but to me, it felt like that third quarter carried on over into the fourth quarter, and I'm glad we finished strong, but yeah, it was a really tough second half. I felt a lot better at halftime than I did at the end of the game, I'll say that.
I'm getting a little depressed. It reminded me of the lyrics of the song, 4 Lonely Days in a Brown LA Haze. Just like, this is just going to get passed, and it did. And I was really proud.
Yeah.
Coach, it's really not our call to name the players of the game, but several different ones recognize different ones as players of the game. The huddle recognized Jackson Burke. OSN recognized the entire offensive line. I can echo that. I'm one of those that, you get a car, you get a car, because there are so many that make that, it's a team.
Yeah.
But I have to give a tip of the hat also. Well, I give a tip of the hat to Rex.
Yeah.
He's inspirational. But I saw Carson Bolton put it on his shoulders and carry and do some tough running, get some first downs. And then when he came out, I saw P.J. Bradford. I think I counted 7 plays, 7 carries in a row. I may have that wrong, but he carried it again and again and again, and then scored that last touchdown. So he had a lot of spirit in him. So I just recognize everybody. I appreciate them all, and they all deserve their praise.
Well, and if I can finish on this, I'm the guy that watches. I'm the color guy. I'm the guy that watches the trenches, the blocking, the holes, and I have to say that the defense, trusting each other, staying in position, the conditioning as well as the depth, being able to get people in and out. Jen and I talked before how starting game 1, people were coming in and out on offense and defense seamlessly. I think this is just a special season, but I'm looking forward to seeing how special it's going to get. And I really want to compliment how you've done, especially coming in first year. These guys learning a whole new system, a whole new program under you. You've done a great job. Just want to say I can't wait to see more of it. Hope you're here for a lot of years. I appreciate you saying that. Hey, having guys like Elysian and Barry and Maddox Birdsong, and the list goes on, it makes my job really easy. So, yeah, really proud of those guys. Really happy to be here.
Well, good. Well, thank you for being with us tonight. I hope it was painless. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was fun.
And I hope you have a great season. Looking forward to seeing you Friday at Woodward.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this break here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
It's no secret that life is busy and you have a million things on your to-do list.
Here at Community Bank of Oklahoma, we've made banking simple again.
We can help you get to the important things in life, like the big game tonight.
We do all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Race towards us at Community Bank of Oklahoma because we wouldn't be a community without you.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Back here at Luigi's, having a great time. I hope everybody's having a good time. And I hope everybody is doing well. Is there some feedback coming out of there? Can you hear me? All right, everybody just still looks down. So we're enjoying ourselves, having a great coaches show here at Luigi's in Newcastle. Let me turn that down a little bit. All right, hey, this segment, we're just going to keep going. This segment We have an incredible guy here. He is somebody that does a lot for the show behind the scenes that you don't know about. Great guy. Also is the head coach of the middle school teams. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And also is the defensive line coach. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so he is a busy man. If you don't know that, then you don't know Judd. This is Judd Wilson right here. He is joining us for a segment here, and then you have your other coaches.
Yeah, I have one other coach here.
Okay, good.
Some guys are out of town, so.
Well, we'll allow that. No, I'm glad they get a chance to get away. Looking forward, Austin, and see you. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Gene. I know you have some questions that you wanted to ask.
Well, John, first let me just pick up on the general question about, you wear a lot of hats. So how do you describe your various assignments?
Well, I've been here, this is my 11th year at Newcastle, and 7 years ago, Coach Brickman showed up. He came and asked if I would join the staff, and at that time I helped out with offensive line and defensive line. And then a couple of years later, he approached me about maybe taking over the middle school program. And I've never been a head coach for a team, in that capacity. So I was excited about trying it, and after talking to you and being around here for a couple of years, I was excited to just have the opportunity. The one thing I told him is I like to do it my way, and so I was going to be tough on the kids, and that's the biggest thing is to develop young guys.
So you have 7th and 8th grade.
Yes, sir.
And I know you help with JV.
Yes.
Do you head up that program as well? Or
No, so the JV, I coach the nose and the defense tackles.
All right. Is Coach Brickman there for the JV game? Or
Yeah, absolutely. In 7 years, I think Coach Brickman's been to every game, middle school through high school. So.
I should have rephrased that. I know he's at the games. I didn't know if he took the lead role on JV.
No, it's usually, right now I think it's Coach Ingle King is the head coach, and then everybody else kind of coaches the position.
Well, and I didn't mean to belabor that point except to say this. We've really been speaking the last 2-3 years, the value of having those middle school programs do so well and then feed into varsity. I know Coach Brickman speaks about it. He values it. We value it. So just tell us about just how important that is for a school like Newcastle to have that group in sync with, to some extent, fully in sync with the varsity.
So that's a good question. So in 2012, when I kind of approached school just about maybe helping out coaching and stuff like that, I was still working as a government contractor, but I was finishing my degree. And I had a conversation one time with Mr. Mike Bosley, and he asked me if I had any interest in maybe taking over the middle school baseball program and helping him out in that capacity, and I said absolutely. So being around him and learning from him, understanding that how important it is for the middle school, that's where you teach all the fundamentals and just building the team culture and kind of the culture that you want to have when you get to high school. I think that was you kind of set the tone for how I've seen the importance of middle school.
So culture, does that extend to X's and O's as well, or is it completely different between middle school and
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, obviously a lot of things are going to be different. They're not going to get the full playbook, but using the same verbiage and just the expectations that they're going to have as they get into high school, teaching those things at a 7th and 8th grade level, it just makes the job easier for the high school guys. They're not having to go back and teach basic fundamental stuff as freshmen. And you've seen over the last few years, we've had freshmen really step up and make an impact on the field immediately.
Exactly.
So that's a very important thing.
We saw that last year, probably even before, we saw it, especially last year and this year is remarkable.
Yes, sir.
And they have the respect of those upperclassmen as well.
Sure.
Well, here's a chance to your own horn. How much of that you're talking about, we're seeing a lot of younger players coming in, playing, getting some time. How much of that has to do with what you're doing in middle school? How much does that have to do with Coach Brickman and all the coaches? I don't mean to leave anybody out, but having that consistency coming through, that really you don't see in a lot of schools, especially 4A and lower, that consistency helping with the younger players. How much is that to what you're doing?
Yeah, so being around Coach Brickman, he's been a good leader for the coaching staff as well as the players, and him kind of giving us a guideline to go off of what he wants middle school to know going into the high school. It's really helped as far as like I say, the verbiage and the terminology and the expectation that we have as coaches at the high school level, and sometimes it's hard to switch back and forth from the high school level to the middle school level, but there's different expectations, right? So we expect a lot from our middle school guys, and we try to teach them to compete every single time they're on the field and fight for a job. And so you see that really carrying over to the high school now. That's where you get your freshman and sophomore. They're not scared to go up there and compete with the varsity guys.
So true.
Yeah.
They're showing it. Now, you alluded to this already probably. I was going to ask you your coaching style in middle school, and does that coaching style obviously change on varsity night?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've changed even just over the last 8 years. You try to go off of what the group of kids that you have that year. Obviously, numbers mean something. When I started, it's funny. The senior group right now that's the first group that I had as a head coach in the middle school. They were 7th graders, and those guys went 3 and 5, I believe, their 7th grade year.
You got some muscles being flexed out there.
Yeah, that's right. And then in 8th grade they went undefeated. So just building that culture and things like that. It started with those guys. I'm emotionally attached to this group of guys, just because, like I say, they're the first group that I really got to work with and kind of start molding and things like that.
And not only are they showing skill, they're showing character as well. I'm really proud of our young men.
Yes.
Billy has mentioned several times, yes sir, no sir, please sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that matters.
Sure.
As well. Now, let me ask you this. We love the game, we love the team, we enjoyed the game Friday night, and we feel really good. We felt like we just dominated Weatherford. We felt like we did a good job against Plainview. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, so
from the Plainview game, I guess I should say.
For Plainview, I think seeing the depth, I think you guys mentioned it earlier when we were talking to Coach Bradshaw, the depth showed a lot on Friday night. There's guys that kind of thrown in the fire that probably wasn't expecting to get as many reps as they got. And so I think that's going to help you in the long run, especially when you get into district games, and those games are a little more important.
Right.
And so getting those young guys reps like we did, I think that's where it's going to pay off more than anything. So.
Well, and I agree with that. I think getting them to understand next man in.
Sure, absolutely.
And to understand, I like how you've been bringing people in and out. There's been a lot of substitutions that I've seen on both sides of the ball. And so kind of what Gene and I were thinking with that question is we watch it as fans. Again, never been a coach. He has more coaching experience than I have.
Well, we're in the press box, and I tell the coach, I know most plays what he should be called.
Sure.
And we yell all the time, don't throw the ball, and then throw the ball and catch it, and we say, well, that's a touchdown.
And so we wanted to ask you, right, well, we just wanted to know, just as a coach, I know we see things differently, just kind of your take on the Plainview game, and we really appreciate that as you're talking about next man up. How important was it this year, this is with middle school and high school, how important was it to do the conditioning and seeing the depth that you have? How important was that in the offseason?
So yeah, I think conditioning, obviously we started a new program, and Summer Pride, I've been a part of it every single year since I've been here, and I enjoy that part of it because you get to know the kids, but it's also good to have a break as a coach. So we have performance course came in, and they worked with the kids. This is the second time I think they've been here, and I think they did a good job of getting kids to kind of buy in to preparing themselves and to be ready for the season whenever it rolls around. And so, yeah, I think conditioning is a big thing. Middle school, we push those guys as hard as we can. Again, it's year to year, team to team. You're going to have different types of horses out there, you know. So, yeah, I think the conditioning obviously pays off, and then continue the conditioning side of it allows you to be stronger later on in the season.
Coach, we're going to come back in just a moment for another segment, and the lead into that is going to be the value of the coaching staff and the middle school, but also I see several coaches out there. Tonight we're going to, Coach Austin Copeland is with us, so he's going to come and visit with us for a moment. He's helping in football. He knows a little bit about the round ball as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
And other sports. The sports program, the athletic department of Newcastle is really impressive. And I'm so glad to see the camaraderie and the family of coaches working together and crossing over. Very glad to see Coach Copeland out there. And our other Coach Copeland, our girls basketball coach, is here having dinner with us tonight as we talk. So proud of all of our sports. So thank you for sharing so far, and we'll visit with the middle school coach a little bit later on in the next session.
Awesome.
Right, yeah, we're gonna, if you can stick around, I know you're gonna go, stick around, have Austin come up and join you, and we'll talk a little bit more about the program, talk about the coaches. There really is, like you said, the sports or in the athletic department, a lot of unity, I see you guys laughing and picking on each other.
Yeah.
And that's great to see when I get to go around to other places. You don't see as much camaraderie there as I think most people think there is.
Right.
You know, they kind of watch it on college and NFL, I think everybody's dancing in the locker room. But it's really enjoyed to watch as well. So we're going to take a break here real quick. We'll be right back here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Show here at Luigi's. We have somebody else here. I'm going to just turn it over to you, Judd, if you'd like to introduce him and tell us something, not embarrassing. Tell us something about him and how you've enjoyed him as coach.
Yes, sir. So I met him last year. He's assistant girls basketball coach for the high school, and I talked to our old AD, and he said, "Hey, I got a guy that you would like to have on the coaching staff." And so after I met him a couple times, just watching his energy whenever he's coaching, whether it be boys or girls or whatever, I knew that he's a good fit. Not knowing his knowledge of the game, which he has a great deal of knowledge of the game of football, but just his energy being around kids was outstanding, and so I knew immediately that I could work with that guy. So.
Well, good. And this is Austin Copeland right here. He's really that tall. So much taller than the rest of us. That's why he's involved in basketball. Now, hey, let me ask you, Austin, you're right. I think being a middle school coach in any aspect takes a special person. Middle schoolers are just figuring some things out. What do you think is probably one of the things you enjoy the most about middle school coaching?
biggest thing is just making an impact on the young ones, right? And they're the future of what's next, right? Those sympathetic kids coming up in the high school, that's the future of the program. So being able to have the opportunity to make that impact on them and help build our athletics from the ground up, that's a huge offer.
Coach, how did you, what exposure have you had to football? I mean, have you been involved in other schools? Did you play football?
So I played football at Mount St. Clair all 4 years. Played for Chris Stiles and Mark Little for my first 2 years, and my last 2 years played for Derek Perkins. I played wide receiver, strong safety. Actually, by the end of high school, I actually played almost every defensive position except for nose, because when I was younger, freshman, sophomore, they could move me around, trying to find a spot for me. But, you know, played high school football all 4 years, college, you know, decided not to play. Went to 3 years, was part of the basketball scout team for the girls program. That's kind of where I kind of had my hand in the coaching world a little bit, seeing what the girls and guys practice, you know, getting all that experience. It's kind of doing all that. It's been a great time.
We played Mount St. Mary's a few times here. Did you ever play?
We did not. We did not. We scrimmaged 3 times. We came down to the 7-on-7 during the season.
Very good.
Well, and if you take that microphone and kind of over to your chin, we can hear you some, but we can hear you real good now. There you go. Hey, so things with that, what do you think is probably one of the best things you could bring to the middle school football team? So whether it's wisdom that you're able to share with the kids or the experience from Mount St. Mary, there's a lot of experience they can use off of that. What's probably one of the things you feel, hey, this is what I feel like.
25 years old, I definitely don't have the wisdom that some others have. But being 25 years old, I've got the energy. You know, so I can, it's infectious, especially for those young kids. You know, they're just absorbing everything they do, they're seeing, they're watching, they're reacting, they respond to that. So bringing that positive aspect, that energy every day, you know, trying to get them going. You know, that's what I bring. I'm high energy all the time. You know, sometimes it's tough on them weird, but you know, trying to get them just. Let's go.
How are you liking Newcastle so far?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. You know, this is my second year. I'm fresh off the block, straight out of college, and this is my first job coaching and teaching. It's been fantastic. It's been a great first job for me, for sure.
And have you heard Newcastle is growing?
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
So we're glad to have you here and growing with us.
Now let me ask you a question, and I don't mean to embarrass anybody. Do the students consider you the young guy? No offense. The young guy on the coaching staff that they probably can talk to. Do they ever say, hey, can you go talk to coach for me, kind of some of that stuff?
The go-between.
The go-between.
You know, that actually really hasn't happened a lot. Probably some of that's because they've been around Coach Wilson a little bit more, so they're going to be a little bit more comfortable with him. But working with the receivers and the DBs that they have, we kind of take it to each other pretty good here in this first month, you know, and I'm still trying to learn some of their names. You know, practice, they got to help us on them, you know. Right. But they've taken me and I take with them, learning from each other. I am definitely the young guy. I'm actually the young guy for the admin too, right? So all the time. Do you have your license yet? That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, they say, hey kid, do you have a pass? Yeah.
Pretty much what it is.
Well, good. One of the things I wanted to go with you, Jed, is if you could just tell the people what nights you play, the times you play, some things they can look forward to when they come out to a middle school game.
Yes, sir. So you can go to Newcastle football or racersfootball.com, and our entire schedule's on there. We play Monday nights, 7 o'clock. I mean, 7th grade starts at 5 o'clock. 8th grade is immediately following, and then JV follows the 8th grade game. And like I say, that's every Monday night from now until I believe October 29th. So we play 8 football games, and then varsity's every Friday night, except for maybe the Harrod game. I think it's on Thursday. So yeah, so racerfootball.com, or you can go to the Newcastle Public School page and they'll schedule to be on that. So,
All right, and you're down on the sideline with them, running and jumping and high-fiving as well, Austin?
Not high school. I'm not there in the high school, but I am down there watching. High school games, I'm watching from a fan perspective, but I definitely see it from a perspective. The coaching mind
That's right.
Well, we're sure glad to have you. You got a great personality, the demeanor about you. It's always nice crossing paths with you on campus. Or a few times I went there, but I enjoyed having you and our other coach, co-friend. So proud of you. So proud of the basketball program getting better and better. We enjoyed it last year. We cannot wait for this fall as well. So thanks for being with us tonight.
And I was going to ask you an embarrassing question on Coach Copeland, but I know that she will be here in the next few weeks, so she may get some revenge. So we'll just let that lie low for now.
She can embarrass me, I can embarrass her.
There you go.
Definitely, she embarrasses me more than anything.
My money's on her.
That's right.
She'll win all the time.
Well, guys, hey, thank you for being here tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for everything that you do behind the scenes here for the Coaches Show. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Austin, for being here. Look forward to seeing you on Monday nights. And so we're going to be back here in a second. Gene and I will wrap it up, talk a little bit about Woodward, and then we'll move forward right after this break on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice. It up here at the Luigi's Coaches Show here in Newcastle. It's not too late. Don't think that just because you don't see Gene and I here that they are closed or they're gone somewhere. Come out, get some food. Tonight's special is the trio. Come out, grab that. We're here at 117 Northwest 32nd. There's just a couple of tables left, so hurry up and get out here. It's a great place, great food, wonderful food. They've done the hospitality for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, great.
And it has been wonderful. So come out, enjoy that with them. Really want to encourage that as well. As we wrap it up, we're going to look at the Woodward game and see some things that we look at. Now, first of all, I'll tell you, it's been kind of difficult. They're so far removed that it's been difficult to get some information on them, but there is some interesting things. Gene, what's something that you pulled up with you?
Well, not a whole lot. In fact, I will rely on you. You may have some information from the Light magazine even. But there are programs that's kind of rebuilding again. They've had some changes in their head coaching. They've struggled, to be quite frank with you, and they did play Bethany last Friday night. Bethany pretty much dominated them. However, Woodward did have 222 yards passing. They had only 67 yards rushing for a total of 289 yards. They had a low third down conversion rate. They had some turnovers. Sounds like a team that's in the rebuilding, we could say. So we don't know too much about them. I'd like to hear anything you have about them. And just before we wrap up, I want to talk just briefly about rankings.
Okay.
Some of the things that I've seen, and very little bit I've seen, is you're right. This will be the first team that Newcastle faces that has 3 times more passing yards than rushing yards. And so that tells you a little bit about them. They do have a big guy, and if you'd asked me earlier, I'd have told you his name, a real good receiver that stands out for them. But if you watch Newcastle over the past 2 weeks, kind of the standout players, well, actually I'd say the last 2 years, the standout players they've really prepared for, got film on, and have done very well. One of the things that I noticed, their quarterback, if I can remember his name, is Ryan Douglas, Jr., great arm. He has great throwing abilities. He can throw a straight line shot. I can't get off of the Xbox. You got the tap pass and you got the hit pass. He can hit pass very well and get that ball into tight spaces, but he can also loop it over into the basket. He's an excellent player when you team him up with a wide receiver. They do look very well. I don't know that you're going to see a lot come out of their run game. They had a difficult time running against Bethany. I would like to say, not just as a fan, but somebody who does know a little bit, that our defense is a little bit better than Bethany's, no disrespect to Bethany as well. And so I think if you come out, you're going to see them a little bit more of a finesse type team. They're going to be a little bit more in the passing yards. I think our back 5, as you heard Coach Bradshaw talking about, our back 5 are going to be busy, need to stay on them. Like the movie said, tell us what flavor the gun is. And so you're going to have to see a lot of that as well. I think that will open up right into some of the strengths that we have. I think you'll see the defense get ready more for passing than for rushing. So that's some of the things I see, in all honesty, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone. We respect all the players that play the game. This should be a game that on paper Newcastle fairly handled. Now, saying that, we're traveling 3 hours northwest to go to Woodward on their field. So, you know that anything could happen. So to say that it's a giveaway, that it's a definite, would be a mistake. And so I just want to go that way. I know a lot of you will be watching on OSN. Again, get it on Roku, get it on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV. Download the app, OK Sportsnet. On Apple, also on what's the other one?
Apple TV, Roku, and
Android. And so
Amazon Fire Stick.
And so be sure to download that. We hope to see you out there. We have a group that's going to be going to the game, and so we hope to see you there. But we understand that's quite a trek. So that's what I would say to look forward to in the game as you watch it. Uriah always does a great job keeping his the camera on the play. You'll see us on good things. You'll hear Josh talking. Josh is someone who's forgotten more than I'll ever know, and does a really good job, and I'll try and keep up with the team there as well.
Billy, OSC coverage of our games are just wonderful. You guys, you do a good job. Josh is one of the best play-by-play. You are one of the best color. You're probably the best color in play-by-play because I view the other games too. Not to put them down, you're doing a great job. So travel with the team if you can. Support them there locally if you can. Tune it in on OSN. I think you'll enjoy it. The Woodward Boomers, and they came down to our house last year. We're going to go visit them this year.
That's right, and I'm sure that they remember last year's game.
Billy, in case our fans haven't been watching, Racers are rated pretty high in the polls.
Yes.
There are probably 2 or 3 polls. I look at a couple. I always look at the Oklahoman online, and the Oklahoman has Newcastle number 5 in 4A in the state. And number 1 is Wagner, number 2 is Poto, Blanchard, Tuttle, Newcastle. How about them apples? 3, 4, and 5 are the Tri-City teams. Also, Max Preps. In week 3, they have the Racers also at number 5. In fact, they have them ahead of Tuttle and Blanchard. Wow. So the polls aren't so critical. It's just exciting to see the recognition, and it also means we've got a target on our back. They're all going to be gunning for us.
That's true. We do have a target there. That's why I enjoy seeing the coaches here, letting the coaches talk to you, telling you some of what they see, some of the things you may not notice on a Friday night. I hope you're enjoying this. Again, want to invite you to come out to the Luigi's. Be here. Not even if we're not doing the coaches show, come out, have a great time. Thank you, Jim, for tonight. It's been a good time. I want to thank Coach Bradshaw, Coach Wilson,
Coach Copeland, and everything that they do for the school. Appreciate it.
Coach Brickman, of course.
Coach Brickman was
We
here.
have members of our booster club, our president of our booster club is here. We've got several team members. We are so proud to have all of you here with us tonight, and for you watching online, we appreciate it.
Yes, if you come, you'll see our linemen all at a table. Don't be afraid. They've already eaten. So just having a great time here. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and appreciate you. We'll see you next week here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
At CFD, our mission is to deliver quality dentistry by providing big practice benefits with a little practice feel. Since 2008, we've updated our look, technology, and have added new smiles to our tenured staff to better care for you right here at home. Convenience for you is one of our biggest goals, and we often provide same-day treatment to minimize your time off work. We are open Monday through Friday to serve you. Visit cfdok.com for details. We look forward to seeing you at our big little practice.